February 24th, 2021 meeting of the Finance Committee. We have minutes of February 3rd, 2021 for approval. Do we have a motion on that?
Move to approve the minutes.
Okay, I'm going to second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we don't have any opposed, so that will, we can move on with that. And now we have a topic of discussion, which is the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation grant through Innovation, Nutrient, and Sediment Reduction, INSR funding. And we have our own Kirk Stoner and our own Elizabeth Grant here to present. So without further ado, you can go ahead and listen to the presentation.
Sure, thanks, Gene. I'll just kick it off briefly. As everyone's aware, we've been working on our watershed implementation plan with DEP, where we have to remove a certain amount of pollutant from the Chesapeake Bay and our local streams and waterways. We'll work with the Conservation District on that and a number of other key stakeholders to develop what we're calling our CAP. We have too many CAPs, our Clean Water Action Plan. So we've actually made this clean. There's too many CAPs right now, but we're calling this Clean Water Cumberland. So it's really our action plan to clean water in Cumberland County. So if you recall, when we worked with DEP on this, it wasn't a requirement of the county to do this, but between the Planning Department and the Conservation District and Conservation Commission, we felt like we had a responsibility to try and help DEP work with our local stakeholders to achieve those pollutant reduction goals. So we set forth our plan. We're working on that, and Elizabeth's been headed it up for us and doing an excellent job. So one of the things that we need to do is we need to find grants to help implement BMPs, best management practices, to reduce sediment, nitrogen, and phosphorus pollution throughout the county. And we have to build partnerships with other organizations that are like-minded and trying to help us reach those nutrient reduction thresholds. So this grant is for $500,000. I think the key point for the commissioners is there's no local match that's coming from the general fund. We have other sources of funding in the program that we can use as local match. We're not proposing any general fund match out of this. So the grant really is a combination of capacity building for our Clean Water Cumberland group, as well as some of our other stakeholders, and also some help with BMP implementation. So Elizabeth, I'll turn it over to you for all the specifics.
Sure, thank you. As Kurt mentioned, we are working with several partners on this project. They are committing matching funds at an in-kind time as well. And some of those partners I can detail would be Chesapeake Bay Foundation, Penn State Extensions, Master Watershed Stewards, the ALARM, or the Alliance for Aquatic Resource Monitoring at Dickinson College, and then, as Kurt mentioned, our Clean Water Cumberland Planning Team, which consists primarily of Conservation District, our Clean Water CAP coordinating team, and the Planning Department. I sent over an executive summary of the grant. We're still just working with our partners to finalize a few things on the application. The application would be due to the National Fish and Wildlife Federation Foundation on March 1st.
Do we have any questions, Mr. DiFilippo? Do you have any questions or any comments?
Just one. Kirk, you said there's no county match, but it looks like there's other matches that we're going to have like over $1 million for this. Is that correct?
Elizabeth, do you want to cover the match there?
Sure. So we were, these are federal dollars, and we were planning to match those with funds that we're receiving from DEP for our Clean Water CAP coordinator and also our CAP implementation grant that was just awarded recently. Those are the two primary sources of match that we have included here. And then there's also match coming from our partners.
So the total looks like it's almost $600,000.
There's $575,000 in match, and then the grant request will be $500,000.
Okay, so it'll be over $1 million in total. That's my question.
Total project.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
That's good news.
It is good news. Is there do we need to take action on this today, or are we just here to discuss it?
We would be seeking your approval to submit the application.
Okay, so Commissioner DiFilippo, do we have a motion for that?
Yeah, hold on just a minute.
Okay, sir.
I'll make a motion that we submit or give approval to have an application submitted for the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation grant through Innovation, Nutrient, and Sediment Reduction INSR funding as presented.
Okay, I am seconding that motion. So we have we've seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we have none opposed, so we can go ahead and let's just get rolling on that. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Kurt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we have J.B. Keener of KDIC, the Cumberland Area Economic Development Corporation, to talk about COVID-19 Hospitality Industry Recovery Program, so humorously referred to as CHIRP. So, it's Gary. All right, Gary, come on up.
All right, thank you. And Jamie and I are both here with you today regarding Act 1 of 2021, CHIRP. And what the purpose of our request is today is for the commissioners to approve a contract between the county and KDIC to administer the funding for this program, which amounts to $2,869,761. I had forwarded guidelines to you earlier today. I apologize for the lateness of those, but we wrapped those up until yesterday. And what we're looking at is these grants are very specific. They're only for for-profit businesses that have the NAICS codes of 721, which is accommodations, and 722, which are food and beverage services. Excuse me. The timelines in this grant are pretty tight. We need to accept applications beginning March 15th. We need to close applications no later than June 15th or at the time that the funds are exhausted. And very different than the CARES grant, this is first come, first served. So we will be, I'm sure, deluged with applications on March 15th. And for a few days after that, we are in the process of finalizing the guidelines as best we can during that period. The period of time between now and March 15th, we'll have those available on the website, the KDIC website, so that anybody who is interested in the grant can look at the guidelines ahead of time, decide whether it's worth their while to apply for the grant. Also, a little bit different than the CARES grant, this time KDIC will be doing the cutting the checks and handling that portion of it that previously the county finance office did a great job with. So I see Ron and Dana are on the call here today, and I'm sure that they're relays that they don't have to worry about cutting a check. And let's see. Other than that, the other requirement that we're concerned about time-wise is that this Act 1 required that the commissioners contract with a CDO no later than March 1st to administer this grant. So that's why we're here today. The grant amounts will be anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000. We're trying to break that down by number of employees within the business as one of the criteria that we'd like to use. The contract that you have before you today was agreed to
just one, Gary, the NAICS designation, 722 is pretty explanatory. Can you tell me what specifically is in 721? I know it says accommodations, that's a pretty specific word, but I just want to make sure I understand what that is.
Off the top of my head, Commissioner, I can't be more specific than that, but I can certainly forward you the definition in codes.
Okay.
Yeah, I can fill in a little bit. It's hotels, motels, B&Bs, and recreational camps. Again, as long as they're for-profit and they have their EIN and it is affiliated with that 721 category.
All right. Gary, you don't need to send the code thing, that explains it. All right.
Okay.
That's all I had, Gene.
Okay, so you're asking for action today just regarding an agreement, Gary?
The contract, yes, which we need to get in place with Kate.
Okay. And, Samantha, are we, ready to assist Kadick on, marketing of this program?
We have a press release ready for, and it's in Jamie's hands and his team for his review. And we will support through social and traditional media and also the website.
Okay. Okay, so, Commissioner DiFilippo, do you have a motion on this, sir?
Yes, I'll make a motion that we accept the contract/agreement with Kadick regarding the COVID-19 Hospitality Industry Recovery Program, also known as CHIRP, as presented.
Okay, I'm gonna second that motion. All of those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have none opposed, so we are good to go, Mr. Shikihara.
Thank you so much, Commissioners.
All right,
Thank
thank you
you.
guys.
So we're gonna move on to other business. Do we have any other business before us today?
So did you want to discuss the proclamations that I guess have been discussed briefly? We had done the CD Eats. We had discussed the CD Eats and did a proclamation last month for that. And I will tell you, continue to hear word that everybody is very appreciative from the industry and around the state. They've gotten word of that campaign and are very supportive of the work that we've done. And what we'd like to do is to continue that going forward. And we've provided a sort of a schedule of other campaigns, including March being shops, sort of like a shop local campaign. So I guess at this point we would like an approval to do a proclamation for March as Shop Local Month in Cumberland County. We do not have the specific language to that effect, but we would like to pursue that and do a campaign in March for our local retail shops.
Commissioner DiFilippo, do you have any questions?
Not specifically on this, but do you guys have any other suggested? I know there was I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, so
You had a time frame of other establishments you wanted to promote. Gene, I know you had mentioned something about salons, spas, etc.
I would, I've expressed this numerous times, and as Kadick, I've expressed this. I really would like to see a month dedicated to hair salons, or salons and spas, to these other women-owned businesses that have struggled just as hard as our restaurants have. I think that shops is pretty generic, and I could support moving, the next proclamation to be hair salons. I don't, what does the shop's marketing plan look like?
yeah, so that's primarily on the retail side. And what our intention was in May, Let me go down through the whole schedule and then I can give you a little more detail. So March was shops, April we were talking about doing a beer trail. May would be tourism, hospitality, and wellness or personal care service businesses, which would include salons, barbershops, and so forth. As part of the May campaign, June would be outdoors, July ag, ice cream trail, and then August family fun and attractions. So our entertainment type facilities that again were shut down quite a bit. So we were sort of looking at the salons being part of that wellness and personal care service, not just this specific business of salons, but to incorporate them into a broader category of personal care service businesses.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, Jamie, I don't like that. I don't like lumping them in.
Okay.
I'm not in favor of it. I will tell you too, that beer trail, as long as we're being told that you can't go into a bar and just have a beer, I don't think that that's a good thing for us to be promoting. I may need to move that into the fall. And hopefully by then you can go into a bar and have a beer.
Okay.
That one bothers me to me.
Okay, one of the reasons we had done that is because we had gotten a grant to do a campaign where we're gonna take that online. We had our passports that were printed. We're now doing our passports online, and that was gonna be launching in April, but certainly we can push that one back to fall and do another, again, the salons, then in April. We can have, give us a little bit of time, we can have more discussion around that.
Okay, I think that that's fine. Commissioner DiFilippo, are we okay with proclamations for all of these things?
They're all different, and I don't see, that it would hurt. I think, Jamie, what you're asking for today, and correct me if I'm wrong, was just for the month of March that we agreed to. The proclamation hasn't even been drafted yet,
Right.
but agreed to have one drafted for March being shop local month. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and we could come back to you with actually ones that are drafted for it. And we don't think there needs to be a proclamation for everyone, but there might be a couple specific ones that we think that are prominent enough to do a proclamation. And we have time to do those, get those together.
Yeah, so then for each month, you're not looking for a proclamation.
Not necessarily, no.
Okay, all right.
So I'm okay for March, Gene.
Yeah, I am too. Do we need to do an official action on this?
Well, we won't actually be doing the proclamation. I think we'll be making
Okay.
a motion to have one drafted for us for review.
I think what it does is helps us getting the marketing campaign started. If you want to do the actual proclamation another time, it's just, that way we know that you're on board with March being the shop local month. That would be helpful.
All right, so Commissioner DiFilippo, do you have a motion to that effect?
Because we've got Monday is March.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's here.
So, okay, then, gosh, I need to look at the calendar. I'll make a motion that we agree to have a proclamation drafted that will designate March 2021 as for Cumberland County Shop Local Month.
I will second that motion. So all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Keener. Okay, do we have any members of the public on the call?
No,
We do not?
we do not.
So, is there anyone in the room that would like to give public comment?
No.
It's here.
Okay, so I guess we have no public comment, so we need a motion to adjourn.
We'll move to adjourn.
All right, thanks, everyone.